is smoked. Left center field. And that baby's gone. Grand slam for Murphy.
So, who isn't here? Unfortunately, Sean Murphy. And it's one of those things where we had it a year ago. We knew Olsen, Chapman, Sean Manaea, Chris Bassett. We knew they were going. It didn't make it any easier to see them go. And it's the same with Sean Murphy. This offseason, we knew he was really the last experienced regular of a lot of value. So it was obvious he was going to get traded. But still very disappointing to lose him. December the 12th, it came in, a big trade with both the Braves and the Brewers involved in it. The A's ended up getting 5 players in the trade. But disappointing, guys, especially because once again, just like Matt Olson, he goes to the Braves. So they immediately sign him to a contract extension. For Sean Murphy, it's a 6-year deal, $73 million, which for someone like him really isn't that much money. And it's the frustration, why can't we do these deals?
Yeah, felt like a steal. It felt like a steal when you just saw it. I mean, as much as I tried to work out who was going where and who we were getting and what that could be worth, it still felt like a steal.
Yeah, and it's a real disappointment.
Part of what bothered me was the rumours beforehand were that we were going to hold teams out to ransom in the trade, and it just didn't come to any sort of fruition. In the end, it looked as if we were probably the ones desperate to get rid.
Yeah, that was weird because he still had 3 years under contract. So it wasn't like we had to get rid of him like a footballer who's got a year left and you want to get something rather than get nothing. It's like, we didn't have to trade him now. And it remains to be seen. I mean, we've got 5 players back for him, and it's been the A's way in recent years. We tend to go for quantity more than quality, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to go about it, but that does seem to be the way we do it.
That's rather going on a banner.
Really good players, we get 5 who might come to something but may not do anything.
Hashtag quantity rather than quality.
Yeah. That's our hashtag for 23.
Yeah, why have one player when you can get 5 and just rotate them and just until one of them does something?
Hopefully, yeah. And I mean, I tweeted at the time, it's disappointing for us, but it must be a killer to all of the people in the franchise who are the player operations team, as they're known, the minor leaguers, the scouts. They drafted him. He was a 3rd-round pick by the A's in 2016. They helped develop him through the minor leagues. He becomes a real quality player, exactly the sort of cornerstone player you would kill to develop for your own team. And yet we just trade him away for a bag of balls, what it looks like.
Gold glove.
Gold glove, yes. First A's catcher ever to win a gold glove, which I was surprised to work out, but that is true. So he's a real all-rounder.
Did you think Suzuki had won one?
Yeah, Suzuki was one guy. He's always been very good. I thought Ray Fosse, but Fosse actually won 2 gold gloves in Cleveland just before he was traded to Oakland. But it's a real blow. I mean, clearly it makes us a bit worse this year, but it's about just the attitude and the fact that even a guy like Sean Murphy, we can't keep hold of. And we keep looking at it. I know we looked at, say, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman. There was a time, maybe in 2019, maybe they might finally be the ones we keep, but that didn't work out. Now this time we've got some prospects coming through. Are they going to be the ones we finally keep? When is this story ever going to come to a different ending? That is the issue. And it's very frustrating, but we can only hope. I mean, we certainly hope he does well for the Braves. He's, a quality player. What are we going to do with the banner, though, Dom?
I think Cass has got it.
Oh, Cass has got it. She can burn it.
Yeah.
What's a needlework? What's a needlework like?
There's no. We just need to superimpose someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Langeliers.
I've nothing against Sean Murphy. I'm quite sure he is like many of the players who would have quite happily stuck around. I don't think he's one of the players that have spoken out and clearly was agitating for a move.
No.
Which again just makes it all the more bizarre. I think the one thing it does indicate is that the rebuild is a long-term one. I'm not expecting us to be good next year. This is we might be good in 2026 or something.
Yeah, and that's been interesting because I know we've spoken about it in previous pods that Hannah, I know you've mentioned this. We tend to go into it a bit quicker than people think, but we tend to come out of it a bit quicker than people think, or we have done in previous years. And it does look a bit different this time. This is really the first time we've gone into a proper full-on rebuild, and it is probably going to take that bit longer to really see those players come through.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking now, I don't think I could name the starting team in full for the first game of the season. I think I'd struggle.
Because there's 72 players to choose from.
Well, we've not
position.
we've not signed 8 of them, so I wouldn't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, there has been a fair amount of churn over the way. That's fair to say, and we've got to hope that some of those players will come through. Now, one of those players, of course, and one of the stories to Sean Murphy's trade is the fact that a year ago we traded away Matt Olsen, and in that trade we got a very good young catcher. So I will say the king is dead. Long live the king, as they say. I don't think the real king has died in the past half hour. I don't know. Well, I mean, he's under.
Let's hope not.
He's under a lot of stress at the moment, let's be honest. You know, book launches and all of this stuff. You know, who knows? Anyway, that may be a bit inappropriate, but we'll move on and say King Sean has gone. Long live King Shay. He has big boots to fill. It's fair to say, but he more than has the talent to do it.
The first big league home run for Shea Langeliers. He goes to right center. Family and friends are psyched. So are we. That was awesome.
It was awesome. Shea Langeliers is awesome. There's a banner for us. Yes, Shea came up last season and did well, to be fair to him. And it's weird, really. Swapsies is what I put in the notes. He was the guy for the last couple of years who was seen as the future Braves catcher for many years. Obviously, the future Braves catcher is now Sean Murphy. And now Shea Langeliers is going to be our catcher. It's a lot of pressure to put on him in some ways, but he did at least have last season with Sean Murphy and also Stephen Vogt. So what do you guys think? Do you think he's ready for it? I mean, he's going to have to be, basically.
Yeah, it's a quick learning curve, isn't it? He's going to have to step up. But I think there was definitely signs and hints of that last year.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's definitely, you could see, as you said, you know, the king is dead, long live the king. I think there's definitely something there. There's enough there to give some hope that actually, you know, big shoes to fill.
He doesn't have the pressure as well, because we're not expected to be good or anything. It's a bit like, you know, when Marcus was naff and then he became really good during our sort of rebuild. So hopefully, you know, not that Langeliers is naff, but it just, you know, you don't have the pressure on a contending team, do you?
Yeah, I think that's really going to be the story of 2023. We've got a lot of players, as we joked. This is the season where we're going to see which of those actually may stick and kind of learn who we've got, who may be a part of our future and who is going to fall by the wayside. So I think a lot of those sort of players will get quite a lot of playing time, and hopefully that will be useful for us. I was just looking at his details from last season. So he played 92 games in AAA and hit 19 home runs. Then came up in mid-August, August 16th, made his debut in Texas, hit a home run not too long after that, I seem to remember. 40 games he played in the majors, 6 home runs. So 25 home runs all the way across the season and 152 games, which is pretty much a full major league season. So he's been out there playing. He's got his feet wet. Now he's going to take that next step of a bit more responsibility, and he's got the power. He's got the ability. His arm is incredible. And the other thing I will mention, alongside some of the prospects we got, we did get a veteran catcher called Manny Pena, who is a good defensive catcher. So he's got a bit of help there. He's the sort of guy who could become a real fan favorite. And maybe he will be the guy we finally sign to a contract on.
Hold your breath.
Okay.
What we'll probably do is let him go on waivers and then try and bargain him back.
Yeah, we've already done that with one of the players, haven't we?
But take the point about becoming a fan favourite. I think any players arriving in Oakland, you know, it'd be great if they reach out to the fans and try and get involved, because there's such a good fan base in Oakland waiting for waiting for a hero.
Yeah, exactly. And as Hannah said, this is the thing about this season. Everyone knows it's going to be a struggle, but there's no pressure on those players. I mean, you mentioned Marcus Simeon. I can't remember how many errors he had in that first season, but it was a lot. I think the most errors of any fielder in the majors that season. But he came through those growing pains, and that was actually better for it in the long run. He had to deal with those problems and became an absolute quality major leaguer. So that's what we've got to hope from Shea. He's got the talent. Hopefully he can come through. Now, the other people we want to come through, obviously we had some other players we got through